In the throbbing heart of Manhattan's West Village, where the pulse of life throbbed in sync with the rhythm of the city, nestled a clandestine haven. This was a sanctuary for those who dared to defy societal norms, a beacon of acceptance and camaraderie amidst concrete jungles. On one of these unremarkable evenings, two men found themselves in this secluded corner of Manhattan. John Doe, a man in his late 40s with a jovial demeanor that belied the weight of life's burdens, sat at the bar, nursing a drink, his laughter echoing off the polished wood. Across the room, James Smith, a young barman with an infectious energy that seemed to illuminate the darkest corners of the room, deftly poured drinks for patrons who sought solace in this clandestine haven. The air was thick with the scent of spilled liquor and sweat, punctuated by the mingling scents of cologne and aftershave. The hum of conversation rose and fell like a tide, ebbing and flowing around the patrons who found comfort in this dimly lit sanctuary. The room seemed to pulse with an energy that was both intoxicating and exhilarating, a palpable reminder that within these walls lay a community bound by shared struggles and triumphs. As the night wore on, John Doe and James Smith found themselves drawn to each other, two lost souls navigating the treacherous waters of life in a city that never slept. The room around them faded into obscurity as they became ensnared in a conversation that seemed to defy the constraints of time and space. Their laughter rang out like a clarion call, piercing through the hum of the bar as their words danced around each other, weaving a tale of shared dreams and whispered fears. The tension between them was electric, charging the very air with an energy that seemed to vibrate with anticipation. And yet, there was something inherently fragile about this connection, an unspoken understanding that this moment, like so many others, would eventually slip away, lost to the sands of time. As the night deepened, the city outside began to reveal its true face, a stark reminder of the darkness that lay just beyond the safety of the bar's walls. The neon lights flickered like beacons in the night, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and twist as they danced across the pavement. And within those shadows, a sinister presence stirred, watching with cold, calculating eyes as the lives of John Doe and James Smith intertwined, leaving them vulnerable to the insidious machinations of a monster who lurked in the darkness. In the end, it would be this shared moment of connection that would serve as the foundation for a tragedy that would shake the city to its core, a tragedy that would force Detective John Cooper to confront not only the brutality of a monster, but also the darkness within himself. As the sun rose over Manhattan, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch and twist in the wind, the true horror of what lay ahead remained shrouded in the darkness, waiting for its moment to strike. Scene 2, The Vexing Conundrum. Title, The First Victim. Summary. As John Doe disappears under mysterious circumstances, Detective John Cooper is drawn into a case that seems to defy explanation. Despite mounting evidence of foul play, the investigation hits a dead end. The scene underscores Cooper's determination and introduces the first enigma of the story. How could such a well-liked man vanish without a trace? Suspense. The tension builds as Cooper grapples with the confounding case, hinting at the existence of an elusive predator. A symphony of sounds greets Detective John Cooper as he steps onto the busy sidewalk, the cacophony a soothing balm for his weary mind. But today, the melodious hum of Manhattan carries an undercurrent of unease, an intangible discordance that prickles at the back of his neck. It was another call to duty, another life hanging in the balance, and the weight of it all threatened to crush him beneath its heavy burden. The case at hand was unlike any he had encountered before, a puzzle cloaked in enigma, wrapped in uncertainty, and shrouded by the veil of time. John Doe, a man known for his jovial demeanor and soft-spoken charm, had vanished without a trace. His friends and family clung to hope, but with each passing day, their optimism faltered like the waning embers of a once roaring fire. Cooper's eyes scanned the crime scene one last time, his gaze lingering on the empty space where Doe's apartment once stood, an empty canvas etched with ghostly echoes of laughter and love. The air was thick with questions and uncertainties, but Cooper knew that answers would come, if only he could find the right clues to guide him through the darkness. The hours bled into days as Cooper delved deeper into the labyrinthine world of John Doe. His investigation took him from the bustling streets of Manhattan to the tranquil suburbs of New Jersey, where Doe's roots ran deep and wide. The trail grew colder with each passing mile, yet Cooper refused to be deterred. Each new lead, no matter how tenuous or inconsequential, was pursued relentlessly, for he knew that even the smallest detail could crack open the door to a hidden truth. As the days turned into weeks, the case began to fester like an open wound, refusing to heal. Evidence of foul play mounted, yet no concrete answers emerged, only fragments of a story that seemed deliberately obscured. The silence grew deafening, the questions unanswerable, and the weight of responsibility bore down on Cooper with crushing force. But in the heart of every great detective lies an indomitable spirit, fueled by an unyielding desire to bring justice to the downtrodden and solace to the grieving. And so, as darkness fell upon the city that never sleeps, Detective John Cooper stood on the precipice of a new dawn, ready to face whatever mysteries lay ahead, even if it meant plunging into the heart of darkness itself. The tension simmers just beneath the surface, an electric current waiting to be unleashed. The specter of an elusive predator looms large in the minds of all who dwell within the city's concrete embrace, a reminder that even in the heart of civilization, danger lurks in the shadows. As the investigation into John Doe's disappearance deepens, so too does the fear that grips the souls of those left to wonder. Will they ever find the answers they seek, or will this mystery remain unsolved for eternity? Scene 3, The Shadows Dance, the second victim. As the city's clocks strike midnight, the West Village pulsates with a life that hums at the edge of perception. The shadows of the concrete jungle dance, casting elongated fingers over the pavement and seeping into the windows of the clandestine haven nestled within this urban labyrinth. Within its walls, James Smith, the young barman, raises a glass in celebration as the night's revelers swirl around him, their laughter and camaraderie a stark contrast to the mounting dread that grips the city outside. In a dimly lit office within the confines of New York's police department, Detective John Cooper studies the photograph of James Smith, his gaze heavy with the weight of unanswered questions and the growing certainty that the case before him is far from ordinary. The disappearance of James mirrors the fate of John Doe, two lives severed by an unseen hand, their only connection a shared sanctuary. As Cooper sifts through evidence, he cannot shake the feeling that he stands on the precipice of an abyss, the darkness below calling out to him, beckoning him closer. As the days turn into weeks and the city continues its ceaseless dance, Cooper's investigation takes on a life of its own. He delves deep into the lives of his victims, seeking answers where none appear to exist. The commonalities between John Doe and James Smith are as subtle as they are chilling. Both were frequent patrons of the same bar. Both were well-liked yet seemingly alone. Both vanished without a trace. As Cooper follows the threads woven by these connections, he begins to unravel a tale that defies logic and challenges the very fabric of his understanding. The city is rocked by the news of James's disappearance, sending shockwaves through the tight-knit community that called him their own. The fear that has long lurked in the shadows now looms large, casting a pall over the vibrant scene that once pulsated with life. For Detective Cooper, this development serves only to reinforce his suspicion that they are dealing with a predator whose hunger for destruction knows no bounds. As the investigation unfolds, Cooper's journey takes him back to the clandestine haven, the common ground shared by both victims. The air within is thick with the scent of alcohol and the lingering echoes of laughter that now seem hauntingly hollow. The patrons huddle together, their eyes darting towards one another as they whisper of the darkness that has descended upon their sanctuary. As the days turn into weeks and Cooper's investigation deepens, so too does the tension that grips both him and the city. The shadows cast by the concrete jungle grow darker still, and the line between right and wrong begins to blur in the face of an enemy whose motivations remain obscured behind a veil of secrecy. As the hunt for answers becomes a race against time, Detective John Cooper is forced to confront not only the evil that threatens the city he swore to protect, but also the darkness that resides within himself. A darkness born from years spent wrestling with the consequences of lives lost and cases unsolved. As the scene fades to black, It leaves the viewer hanging on the precipice of revelation, their minds racing with questions that may never be answered. In this grim tableau, the true horror lies not in the actions of a single predator, but in the darkness that lives within each of us. A darkness that threatens to rise whenever we forget the value of humanity and the sanctity of life. Scene 4. The Hunter and the Hunted. Title: The Predator Unveiled. As autumn's chill seeped into the city, Detective John Cooper's relentless pursuit of justice took a decisive turn. The labyrinthine web spun by the elusive predator began to unravel, revealing threads that connected the vanished lives of John Doe and James Smith. The case had grown more complex with each passing day, yet Cooper felt an unsettling sense of closure within reach. On a drizzly evening, as the city's streets shimmered under the glow of streetlights, Cooper found himself outside a seemingly ordinary brownstone in the heart of Manhattan's West Village. The house bore no visible signs of malevolence, but whispers from the shadows hinted at a darkness lurking within. Inside, the air was thick with the lingering scent of cigarette smoke and the muffled hum of a television. Cooper moved cautiously through the dimly lit rooms, his senses on high alert. His eyes, sharp as a hunter's, scanned every nook and cranny, searching for any trace of the beast he pursued. Suddenly, a flicker in the dim light caught his attention, a photograph half hidden beneath a pile of magazines. The image was grainy, but Cooper's trained eye recognized the face from the victim's profiles. This was the link he had been seeking, the missing piece that would lead him to the predator. As he studied the photograph, Cooper felt a cold shiver run down his spine. His heart pounded in his chest like a drum, urging him forward. He knew now that he stood on the precipice of a confrontation, a battle between good and evil that would test the limits of his resolve. In the darkness beyond the photograph, the predator stirred. Richard Rogers, once a respected member of society, had allowed his dark desires to consume him. His insatiable hunger for power and control had driven him to unimaginable depths, transforming him into a beast that stalked the night. As Cooper's footsteps echoed through the house, Rogers felt an icy finger trace down his spine. He knew that the hunter was closing in on him, and he feared the inevitable confrontation that loomed ahead. Little did he know that fate had other plans, plans that would see the predator transformed into the hunted. With each step, Cooper drew closer to Rogers, guided by an unwavering sense of duty and a burning desire for justice. The city held its breath as the hunter and the hunted danced their deadly dance, oblivious to the world around them. The air crackled with tension, charged with the electricity of impending conflict. As the rain continued to fall outside, Cooper's hand closed around Rogers's collar. In that moment, the darkness within Rogers was exposed for all to see, a darkness that would ensure his capture and condemnation. The predator had become the prey, trapped in the very web he had spun so carefully. The city breathed a collective sigh of relief as Cooper led Rogers away, bound by the chains of justice. The investigation had come full circle, bringing solace to the grieving families left in the wake of senseless violence. As the sun rose on a new day, the shadows that had haunted the West Village began to recede, leaving behind only a reminder of the darkness that lives within each of us. A darkness that must be fought with every fiber of our being if we are to preserve the sanctity of life. Scene 5. The Darkness Within. Title: The Race Against Time. Summary: amidst the cacophony of Manhattan's bustling streets, Detective John Cooper walks a tightrope between hope and despair, the fate of two lives hanging in the balance. As he delves deeper into the abyss of human cruelty, memories of cases long past rise like specters from the shadows, haunting him with their ghostly whispers. The city's concrete canyons loom over Cooper like towering monoliths, their cold stone faces seemingly mocking his pursuit of justice. The air is thick with the acrid tang of fear and the sickly sweet scent of decay, a palpable reminder of the darkness that lurks within. Each step he takes echoes through empty corridors, punctuated by the rhythmic ticking of the clock, a reminder that time, like the relentless tide, waits for no man. Inside the cramped confines of his office, Cooper's fingers dance across a map of New York City as he traces the sinuous path of the investigation. His eyes are tired, hollowed out by the weight of responsibility that rests upon his shoulders. The once vibrant images of John Doe and James Smith stare back at him from the photographs, their faces etched with a mixture of hope and anguish, a mirror to Cooper's own tormented soul. The telephone rings, shattering the silence like a gunshot in the night. Cooper snatches it up, his voice a raspy whisper as he demands information. The speaker on the other end is curt, their words cold and impersonal. A new lead has emerged, a vital clue that may hold the key to unraveling the mystery of the disappearance and the potential murder of two innocent men. The city's night unfolds like a sinister ballet as Cooper races through its labyrinthine streets, following the trail of breadcrumbs left behind by the predator they seek. Each turn brings him closer to the truth, but also deeper into the darkness that threatens to consume him whole. The weight of the past bears down upon him like a suffocating fog, choking out all hope and reason. In the end, as dawn breaks over New York City, Cooper stands before a makeshift altar, a testament to the lives lost in pursuit of darkness. The echoes of justice and vengeance dance through the air as Cooper grapples with his own demons. With each tick of the clock, the stakes grow higher, and the race against time becomes a battle for the soul. The outcome remains uncertain, shrouded in the shadows of fate. Will justice prevail, or will darkness claim another victory? The answers remain elusive, like whispers on the wind, a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the power that lies within each of us to shape our own destiny. Scene 6. The Price of Evil. Title: Justice Served. In the final chapter of this gripping tale, the elusive predator Richard Rogers stands trial for the brutal crimes that have sent shockwaves through the city. As Detective John Cooper, a weathered veteran of countless battles against darkness, takes his place in the courtroom, the air is thick with anticipation. The judge's gavel strikes, and the prosecution presents its case, a tapestry of forensic evidence that paints a chilling picture of Rogers's twisted obsession with control. Witnesses recount the horrors they have endured, their voices trembling as they share the indelible scars etched by Rogers's cruel hand. The courtroom becomes a battleground of wits, as Rogers's defense team seeks to cast doubt on the evidence, to sow seeds of uncertainty in the minds of the jury. But Cooper is steadfast, his resolve unwavering as he confronts the lies and manipulations that have become Rogers's trademark. As the trial draws to a close, the jury delivers their verdict. Richard Rogers is guilty of 2 murders, sentenced to 2 life terms plus 65 years in prison. The courtroom erupts in a cacophony of emotion, a mixture of relief and sorrow that echoes through the hallowed halls of justice. Outside the courthouse, the families of John Doe and James Smith gather to bear witness to this momentous occasion. Tears stream down their faces as they process the enormity of their loss, the sense of closure that has finally come after months, nay, years, of pain and heartache. But even as justice is served, the specter of darkness looms large. For in the pursuit of vengeance, we must never forget the darkness that lies within each of us, the potential for good and evil that resides in every heart. As the sun sets on this chapter, we are reminded once more of the sanctity of life and the price we pay when we choose to forget its value. In the end, the story serves as a poignant reminder of the power of forensic evidence in bringing criminals to justice and the tragic consequences that can stem from one's actions. It is a tale of darkness and light, of good and evil, and of the indomitable human spirit that refuses to be silenced, even in the face of unimaginable horror.